Well, everybody, this is Sarfaraz Khan from the IELTS Pal. Once again, hope everybody is doing pretty well. Today, my video is about the Cambridge A levels and O levels students who are about to take the English papers, the English examination this year, means the coming years in 2024. Okay, so many of the students have been seen to having a lot of problems in their writing part, when specifically when they're writing their essays. No matter you're writing essays, no matter you're writing informal letters or a formal letters, usually it's an informal letters, most of the times. So you need to focus some of the most important materials, some of the most important components. Okay, so if you really want to excel in your writing part, so the basic thing that you need to do is to improve your vocabularies, because in the writing part, you know that once you have used the vocabulary, you cannot use it again and again. Okay, you cannot use the same vocabularies again and again. So it is strongly recommended to memorize more than like two or three vocabulary for the same meaning. For example, if I speak the word, if I write the word contemporary, then later I need to write the word latest. Then later I need to write the word you can say modern, right? So these are some of the things that you need to be very much careful about. Okay, you need to use the vocabularies, you need to use the transition words, because the transition words makes your writing, or takes your writing, I would rather say, that takes your writing into the next level. Okay, so the transition words are quite important. You need to memorize them along with the vocabularies. And obviously, last but not the least, is the grammar. Grammar is the most important thing that you need to be focused, that your study need to be focused a lot. Okay, so this is what you need to do. There are a few things. I will see you with my next video, with my detailed next video soon, with some of the other tips related to the IELTS, Cambridge A levels and O levels writing parts. Okay, students, till then, take care. Bye bye.
Recently, I analyzed examiner reports for O-level English. My aim was to find out the most common student mistakes, so that you can avoid them in your exam. So here are all my amazing findings. But first, let me tell you that an examiner report is a document that highlights student mistakes, tells how you can avoid them, and comments on every question. Now, let's move on to the findings. For the introduction, many students simply rewrite the question. You should understand that an introduction requires more than that. To write a good introduction, grab your reader's attention first. You may also give some background information when possible. Finally, remember to tell the purpose of your writing as well. Here's an introduction for a magazine article. Do pause the video and read it. Then comment below whether it contains the three elements of a good introduction I previously mentioned, or not. The second thing I want you to know is to be specific. Let me explain. Let's say that you are writing an article about your cousin who went abroad. So instead of writing abroad, you can simply write Canada. In short, try to elaborate whenever possible. Students ask this question all the time. How much detail should I add to each content point? According to the examiner, instead of writing a lot of points, add details to fewer points. But remember, the details you provide should be relevant. For example, let's say you are writing an account about a fight between two students. The paragraph below will help you understand how to add relevant details to your ideas. Do pause the video and take a look. The fourth thing that you should know is that valediction is important in directed writing topics, such as a formal letter. Valediction is simply how you conclude your directed writing. The point examiner was trying to make is that, instead of using informal valedictions, such as regards in a formal letter, use formal valedictions such as yours faithfully. Here's a question in front of you. If I talk about the format, you will first write "Dear Editor," followed by a subject. Then, you will add 5 paragraphs. You can conclude your letter by writing "Yours sincerely," and then, name, signature and date. Now let's jump straight to narrative writing. For narrative writing, the first thing I learned is that direct speech should be properly punctuated and paragraphed. Direct speech is what we call dialogues. Here's how to deal with this problem. Note that every time there is a new speaker, In the conversation, a new line is used. Take a look at the example below. As the speaker changes from Adam to John, a new line is used. Now, I want you to know about the reporting clause. Let's take a look at this sentence. "Perhaps we should turn our torches on," whispered George. Whispered George is what we call the reporting clause. So here's what you need to know. Every section of direct speech should end with a punctuation mark. If there's no reporting clause, then you can add a full stop, question mark or exclamation mark. Here are two examples for you. In the first sentence, we do not have a reporting clause, so we have an exclamation mark at the end. But the second sentence has a reporting clause, so we have a punctuation mark, a comma in this case, under speech marks. The third variation is when we have the reporting clause in the middle of two sentences. In this example, the punctuation still goes inside the speech marks of the first section. A punctuation mark is then used after the reporting clause, before the next set of speech marks. The second section of direct speech ends with the punctuation mark inside the speech marks. According to the examiner, your writing style should be natural, as using complex vocabulary can impact your response. To make your writing sound natural, draft an outline first. In this way, you will know exactly what to write. Then, understand the fact that using fancy language won't make you sound smarter. Finally, read your work at the end. In this way, you will find out whether your writing style is natural or not. Over here, note that you should avoid informal vocabulary. You can only use it in dialogues, for character development. Moving on, you should work on tenses and agreement. Let me show you how to maintain the sequence of your tenses. The sentence says, "He is arrested, as he will be robbing the bank." The first clause is in the present tense, while the second clause is in the future tense. So the correct sentence should be, "He is arrested, as he had robbed a bank." Now, let's talk about agreement in grammar. In subject-verb agreement, if the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. In the sentence below, the word conclusion is the subject, and is singular. Plus, the verb shows is also singular. For noun-pronoun agreement, note that you replace a singular word with a pronoun. For example, in the sentence below, noun and pronoun in both plural. Moving on, you should ensure that your writing is unique. So forcefully adding some learned expressions can impact the quality of your response. The overused and common expressions are what we call clichés. In the same way, idioms can also sound old-fashioned if you try to add them forcefully. In short, creativity is what will earn your marks. Talking about paper 1, if you are planning to attempt descriptive writing, your language should be extremely precise. Instead of using words such as huge, you should use words such as prodigious. For argumentative writing, use anecdotes to make your response convincing. An anecdote is a short interesting story about a real incident or person. Before moving on to the next finding, I want you to know about this amazing ebook by WG Blogs. They went a step ahead and analyzed 30 examiner reports for 200 exams. So if you want even more tips, you can check this ebook out. The link is in the description. Now, back to the video. For paper 2, the first thing that you should know is that word limit matters in summary writing. If you exceed the word limit, you will lose marks. If you want a detailed guide on how to ace summary writing, you can check out my video on this topic. Talking about summary writing, candidates used transition words incorrectly. As you know, transition words are important in summary writing. But using them in the wrong manner can impact your marks. In the table below, there are some transition words. Pause the video and understand how to properly use transition words. In the multiple choice vocabulary question, you have to find contextual meaning. In short, you have to see what applies best to the particular situation. According to the examiner, read the entire paragraph first. Then apply all 4 options to see which fits the best. For paper 2, I also learned other things. For example, in the first question, write a complete unbroken point. If you try to break one point into 2, you will not earn marks for either. In the same way, many candidates confused meaning with effect. For this topic, I have already made a detailed video. Finally, for the one-word questions, write only one word.